When I was admitted to the mental hospital, everything about me fell apart. And for a long time, I was lost in a world that just seemed ugly and hopeless. And the struggle for me at that point was to try to find some good somewhere. And it was like I was seeing the world through some type of really messed up, muddy, vine choked lens. And for a while I had to just kind of sort of wrestle with that fact, to know that everything that I was seeing was ugly and gross and awful. And I had to contend with that before I could finally start to see the positive aspect of things. It was not just me putting together my own world again, it was putting myself back together. Reimagining who I was, what my identity was, and that the things that I'd been telling myself for years weren't true. And it was extremely difficult. One of the things that was involved in my recovery was writing. And one of the first things that I approached off of my hospitalization was a photo essay haiku thing, which haiku was always something that I really hated, because haiku was something that you wrote when you wanted to be really cool, but you're not. But there was something about haiku that just worked for me, at least at this point, because having these strange, tiny, small snapshots of things where you have to put together the puzzle pieces yourself, that really worked for me, and it helped me process a lot of things. And I wanted to share today a few of these haiku, and I mix these a lot with photos, and I'll try to link these photos with the blog post below as I share this video, because the photographs themselves reveal a great deal. Because my descent and my ultimate nervous breakdown had a lot to do with the community I was in and the things that I was seeing every day. So this is just a little sampling of some of the haiku from my collection, Broken City. Gnarled, twisted branches erupt amid the sleeping children. I found a grave plot that was nothing but a single family, and all the children were separated away from the parents, and it was I don't know what happened to this family, but the children all died relatively close to each other, and there was just this ugly tree growing in the middle, and I thought it was the weirdest thing. I was obsessed with graves at this point. I know, a little cliche, but give me a break. I was very ill. Step away from the graves. Living specters dwell in pain. I had a couple of coworkers who did some very nefarious things to me, and this next one, I think, puts a cap on that entire relationship. Nikki and Lynn, wherever you are, I pray you are suffering. Prelude to Cyclops, visions of loss. A demon named Vulse foretells. People in the mental hospital were obsessed with demons and monsters that they swore were haunting them. I had a few of my own. These things lack weight. A cloud imagined seen dissipates to dream. When you first begin learning that everything you assume about yourself and your surroundings isn't true, everything is like fog. When sky beamed blue, I wept amid ample parking, longing to burn. I had originally planned to douse myself with gasoline and light myself on fire in the middle of a parking lot. She took my hand and locked me away. Brown and blue eyes fade. This next one is a grave. I know lots of graves. It's a Ninja Turtle. It's for a child that died the day it was born. And this grave still haunts me to this day. I still have nightmares about it. A lot of my hang-ups were due to a persistent fear that I would not be able to provide for my children. And so to see this child's grave, the day it was born, it hit me very deeply, somewhere that was hurting, and I had to go back and reassess. One last headstone. I take comfort in knowing he had no soul to suffer. When you're confronting the sickness of a child, which was part of the reason why I went into the mental hospital, you deal with that sickness in some very surprisingly sociopathic ways. I started to think of my child as not human, as machinery that was breaking down. And that attitude kind of sort of bled into other things, where if something bad happens to a person, it's easier to think, well, it's not like they really had feelings anyway, right? They're just flesh. There's nothing really there. That's a surefire sign of some persistent and heavy mental illness. Thank you.